Is what Allah said, فَالْيَوْمَ نَنْسَاهُمْ. Today, the meaning of the ayah means today we shall forget them, just like they have forgotten about this day. Well, you know Allah does not forget. He's not subject to forgetting. لَا تَأْخُذُهُ سِنَةٌ وَلَا. Like in forgetting here in the meaning today we shall abandon them, just like they have forgotten about this day. And this sort of taqabul or sort of opposite, usually the Quran uses it all the time. جَزَاءُ سَيِّئَةٍ سَيِّئَةٍ. The reward of a sayyi'ah, of a bad deed, is something bad as well. The problem with this, in a sense, metaphorically speaking, فَالْيَوْمَ نَنْسَاهُمْ, today we will forget them, is in another ayah where Allah says, نَسُوا اللَّهَ فَنَسِيَهُمْ. They forgot Allah, Allah made them forget themselves. Another ayah, they forgot about Allah, فَأَنْسَاهُمْ أَنفُسَهُمْ. They forgot about Allah, Allah made them forget themselves. Now pay attention to all these verses that are very, very similar. They forgot about us, we forgot about them, metaphorically speaking. They forgot about us, we made about this day, we forgot about them. They forgot about us, we made them forget themselves. Have you met people who have forgotten themselves? He's lost. He thinks he knows where he's going, but he's going in circles. It's like those trick homes with the mirrors. You think you're going somewhere, but you're not going anywhere. And that's exactly, almost, I can't say exactly, but that's the closest I can come to the meaning of this ayah, which means they forgot about us, and we made them, as a consequence, forget themselves. And if you forget yourself, you're useless. That's why Al-Quran, a few ayahs after that, Al-Quran says, which means خَسِرُوا أَنفُسَهُمْ. They lost themselves. It's not that they lost in a sense. No, they lost. They're not there anymore. خَسِرُوا from khusran, khasira. They lost. It's not that it's somewhere. No, it's like lost and found. They lost it. They're living without their nafs. خَسِرُوا أَنفُسَهُمْ. So he's living just as long as the body can live. Because the self, the nafs is gone, it's dead, it's over. خَسِرُوا أَنفُسَهُمْ, they're done. Because he forgot about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and that's the whole point, that you remember with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then Allah mentions another ayah, again, there's many things, let me just finish with this. وَالْبَلَدُ الطَّيِّبُ. Look at this ayah, تبارك الله. يَخْرُجُ نَبَاتُهُ بِإِذْنِ رَبِّهِ. البلد الطيب, the good city. Balad yani city, place, country. But really it means the soil in a sense. Because anyway, what is the country, what's the city? The soil. The soil that's tayyib. Tayyib doesn't just mean pure. Tayyib. Why do we say in Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, Tayyib sallallahu, Abu Tayyib, amongst his names, sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam, Al-Tayyib, Abu Tayyib, right? Sallallahu alayhi wa alayhi. Tayyib. وَالْبَلَدُ الطَّيِّبُ, the soil that's tayyib, يَخْرُجُ نَبَاتُهُ بِإِذْنِ رَبِّهِ. The nabat, the shajar, the trees, whatever comes out, whatever grows out of it, comes tayyib with the permission of its Lord. Then Allah says, وَالَّذِي خَبُثْ, but that soil which is khabith, لَا يَخْرُجُ إِلَّا نَكِيدًا, only comes out khabith. You can do whatever you want. You can put on a tree that is khabith, you fill it with honey, still khabith. That's why Islam always looked at the asal. Al-asal, if it's asal tayyib, if the asal is tayyib, even when people lose themselves a little bit, they tend to go back and find themselves. But walayadu billah, those who are khabith, only thing that comes out of them is khabith. Their word is khabith. مثل كلمة طيبة. You know the other ayah. وكلمة خبيثة. The kalima is even khabith. Not only they are khabith, even the kalima, the words that they say is khabith. And the comments is khabith. and the feelings they have is khabith, and the hatred they have is khabith. It's just a collection of khabith over khabith. Walayadu billah. And that's the danger in these things then. There's veils, you can't see anything. And that's why today we're living here in Ramadan in this country, in any country in the world. It's very important, my beloved Habibi, that you spend time to put asl in your children. I know we always want to spend money on the children, and I always say, spend time on your children. We're all guilty as charged, but again, it's not about spending money on your children as much as spending time, because time is much more worthy than money. Look, Habibi, we eat. We all eat. At the end of the day, الرزق على الله. Yani whether you're eating, lamb and goat filled with everything else in the world, or you're eating chapati and dal, it's the same thing. At the end of the day, you're eating. لكن هذا الأصل, where do you find this أصل? Where do you find these people with أصل? Where do you find those people who have these values today? Why do you think that we love the Sahaba radiallahu anhu ajma'in so much? And Allah says, Muhammadan Rasulullah walladina ma'ahu ashidda. You know the ayahs, huh? There's those values of asl that you have to plant in them, and you have to also force yourself to adhere to them. Those principles, because the human being is only about these values. It's not how you look like, and it's not what your name looks like. No? These things. And let me finish with this. I know I'm going to take a little bit more today, but just today. Qissa. I don't like to say qasas, you know me. I think people who say qasas are to be kicked out of the masjid anyway. Storytellers, need to be, that's what Sayyidina Umar used to do. He gets the storytellers, come here, go out. Masjid is for teaching, not for storytelling, huh? Well, that's what got the ummah to where it is, fairy tales. I think who he thinks, who I said who he says. Where is qala Allah, qala Rasulullah? Anyway, I can hide the story, so let's make, because today is Friday, 4th of July, you're happy with everything. A holiday, enjoying the weekend, long weekend. Hada, they said in the story, Maulana, that one of the kings of the Berbers, the people who live in Morocco, he has a daughter, and he wanted to marry his daughter off to someone who is of asl. He went to Al-Madinah Al-Munawwara, that king of that tribe. He doesn't have any male children, and he's the king, and he wanted to marry his daughter off to someone good. So with asl, he went to Al-Madinah Al-Munawwara ala sahibiha wa alihi wa sahbiha afdal as-salam wa azka as-salam, and he asked about the people of the household of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Yani, where is the family of Rasulullah? So they said, this house is, there's some people who belong to the family of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So he went and said, look, I'm a king and I am dying and I only have one daughter. I need someone to marry her so he can be the king after me. But I need someone with tarbiyah wa akhlaq wa asl. Yani asl, you don't have to worry about him when you're sleeping. You know he's not going to backstab you. You can sleep comfortably, alhamdulillah, no problem. Otherwise, you count, every time you shake your hands, you have to count the fingers. I have 5 or 4. Sayyidina Umar radiallahu ta'ala, they told him, قال أعرفه, I know this man. قال سافرت معه, did you travel with him? He says no. Did you deal business with him? He says no. He says لعلك رأيته يركع ويسجد في المسجد. Maybe you saw him doing ركوع and sujood in the masjid. He says yes. He says اذهب فإنك لا تعرفه. Go, you don't know him. Go. Dunya teaches you lots of things. خير. لأن الرجال مخابر مو مناظر. نعم. فهذا, he went and he said to this man, he says, I want to marry my daughter, someone who I know if I die, my people, everything will be in. He has asl. He truly fears Allah, knows Allah. He says, come back tomorrow, I'll tell you. I have 3 sons, I'll tell you which one is more suitable. He called his oldest son. Son, if someone does you bad, what do you do? He says, Father, if he does me bad, I'll just do the same thing back. I won't go further. You see, some people, you do him something a little wrong, he wants to burn you. Even if there's water and air, he can turn off the air, they will turn off the air. ظلم هذا. وَلَا تَعْتَدُوا, Allah says, the ayah. He says, I will do al-ayn bil-ayn was-sin bis-sin, an eye for an eye. He does me wrong, I'll do him wrong, only exactly as he did. He says, okay. He called the next one, he says, son, if someone does you wrong, what do you do? He says, father, if someone does me wrong, I'll forgive him. Ajib. He says, I forgive him. He says, good. He called the third one and says, someone does you wrong, what do you do? He says, father, if someone does me wrong, I do them good.
Allah. Allah.
He says, Ajib, how come? He says, يَغْلِبُ طَبْعِي طَبْعُهُ. My nature overcomes his nature. That's his asl. And I work with my asl. My asl is good, I generate good. That's why every people's reactions, when you look at the dunya, you see people. People are based on what they behave. Everyone, my dear beloved brothers and sisters, everyone reflects their asl and tarbiyah. Everyone. Through their actions, that's their asl. If their behavior is tayyib, their asl is tayyib. Or if their behavior is khabith, no matter what they look like, and no matter what their position is, they are khabith. That's what Allah says. وَالْبَلَدُ الطَّيِّبْ يَخْرُجُ نَبَاتُهُ بِإِذْنِ رَبِّهِ وَالَّذِي خَبَثَ لَا يَخْرُجُ إِلَّا نَكِدًا. نسأل الله أن يجعلنا مع الطيبين.